welcome to or welcome back to Total Spotfest. I am JJ Brownlee, along with Jamie Faulkner, and a very special guest here from Journey Pro KC, one of the promoters, the members of the ownership group, the one, the only, the infallible, that's not a word, maybe it's a word, I don't know, the incomparable, there we go, Chris Mowry.
Hello, and this is my cat, Olive.
Hello, Olive. Spoiler alert. Tune in next Tuesday. We have more cat cameos coming soon. So thank you, Olive, for joining us. And Chris, for giving us some of your time, being that you just got back from freaking Hawaii. Bastard.
I did, yes. It was great.
Everybody,
highly
special
recommend.
happen while you're out there? Did anything special happen while you're out there?
I mean, I swam with sea turtles.
That's Save the Turtles.
Yes.
Okay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja ones.
I don't know where that came from, but all right. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate it. If you are checking us out on YouTube, do us a big favor. Hit a big thumbs up down below. Leave a comment if you want to join the conversation. Subscribe to hear more of us. We do this every Thursday. Interviews come out pretty much every Tuesday. And if you're listening to us, you can definitely get involved. Join the conversation on Twitter at Total Spotfest. You want to holler at Chris? I have his information down below and on the screen. And also make sure to follow our friends at Journey Pro. That's at Journey Pro KC, pretty much everywhere. So,
Yes.
Housekeeping aside, how are you gentlemen doing today?
I'm doing great. I just watched a great wrestling show.
It was a
That was a
fantastic
killer show.
Right, so we'll get into it here in a bit, but I was telling Chris briefly before you hopped on, Jamie, is that it was one of those episodes where we're like, okay, so this is kind of okay, yeah, and it just kept going. So
fun fact about this show, and we're going to talk about this because I want to actually talk about some of my reactions in the show. But I had to take Megan to practice.
Not my champion.
Her practice is she is totally your champion. We were in an indoor facility up north, off of Armour Road in Kansas City. I know people are like, what? But yeah, there's this place called Armour Road. So we're there, and I'm watching this with other parents around on my phone, and just
softball practice,
knowing what happens, and you know how I get when I see certain things. I had a lot of awkward stares. It was kind of amazing. There's one big one, like everybody, like even I had one spot where practice stopped because I was going nuts.
Jamie stopped high school girls team softball practice because he marked out so hard. That's fan-fucking-tastic.
I mean, my markdom is limitless.
Boy, you just
like
throwing it out there.
I love what he did there.
That's how he rose. So, we're gonna get into that in a little bit here. So, for those of you who want to see Jimmy follow through with his punniness, stick around.
That's a tease. That's what they call a tease in the biz.
Just dropping them crumbs. So before we get into it, let's talk about, since we have Chris joining us tonight, let's talk about Journey Pro, because a week ago from Friday, recently, you and Hartzell got on Facebook and you did the official formal full card reveal for the internet and all the world to see for The Love Below. I'm sorry.
The Outcast record.
ATLians is their best record, first of all. I'm just pointing that out there. And if anybody wants to argue with that, fight me. Let's go.
I will fight you and say that is Equimini.
Equimini is fantastic. Equimini is so good.
Okay.
Yeah, see, ATLians.
Gryffindor on that.
I really got into that's when I was really big into rap back when those records came out, and ATLians, because at the time it was so different, and then they just took it up that next up, and then but I don't know, personally I love ATLians, but The Love Below, which is coming up next Friday, February 18th. I believe
you got it right. Jovi didn't get it right, but you got it right.
Of course, Jovi didn't. Fucking Jovi. Why would he couldn't get it right?
You know, he probably did it on purpose. Jovi, though. Like legit, at least
you should be a fan of Jovi.
That's heel shit. That's heel shit. If I've ever seen it,
it's 100% heel shit. But I'm already committed my heel shit to other said heels, so I can't necessarily. I don't feel like I shouldn't. I should spread that love around. I think I should be monogamous with my heel shit.
I'm monogamous with my heel shit. Plus, I'm Team Kenny Alfonso, and
Yeah, I am too.
I
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
tough. But tickets, I believe, are still available at JourneyProKC.com. So
Yes, they are.
please get your tickets. Join us. It's going to be fantastic because,
And of course,
oh,
if you can't make it, you can watch it on twitch.tv/Journey to Anarchy. So you can watch it there.
absolutely. And if you're a complete slacker, you can follow Journey Pro KC on YouTube and watch it in about 6 weeks or so when they do like a rerun. But come on,
Yeah.
$25. Let's go,
Come
y'all.
on.
It's not even 25. It's 20 bucks.
Funny.
Oh, was it
20
$20? I don't even check anymore. I just
Yeah.
buy. I don't even, you know.
20 bucks, little man. Put that shit in Chris's hand.
So let's talk about the card
I'm all over
because
it today.
you
I'm feeling
are
it.
killing it.
He's
You
on
know,
one.
it was
I was the one who had beverages before this show.
I know. Well, no,
I didn't.
not completely true because I was actually physically in the office for first day of like other than like going into like for special meetings and stuff for actually sitting and doing it at my new cubicle desk right for the first time in almost 2 years and.
Whoa.
It was fine, it's cool, but there's a bar right across the street that we always used to go to, and of course, you know, so I need to duck out because it's been one of those weeks. So me and a coworker, we went and had a couple beers after work too. So, not just you, but you have more than me. This is not a competition.
I've had a spicy chicken sandwich, sir. That's all I've had.
That's good. So card was kind of announced a little bit when the ticket sale happened. You released some stuff, but you guys gave the full rundown. So Jamie, you should have it in front of you here. Let's kind of talk about that and get a little behind the curtain with since we got Chris in front of us here. Let's talk about Journey Pro, The Love Below.
Let's do that.
Let's not get full on behind the curtain.
No. Just like a little like a.
Well, we could try. We could try
Yeah.
and put it. We could try and pull it. We can see what we can get. We'll see.
I see.
All right.
I see.
So, I would like to start with the match where I would like to consider myself the advocate. 100% the advocate for who should win this match.
Okay.
And Dak Draper versus the one, the only. D stands for does a Chicago Crab, JDX.
That's a Chicago crab. I love that. You think JDX should win?
Absolutely. Put him over.
Please expand.
He just said put
why?
him over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you said put him over,
No.
but you gave me a very good reason why you had that thought though, Jamie.
Yes, absolutely. So Dak Draper is a household name here at Journey Pro. Everybody knows Dak Draper. And one thing that we all know about wrestling is this, that some people can lose and it's okay. Like they will survive and they will still be a main eventer no matter what. There's always something going on for him. We always get a storyline, whatever. JDX is that up and comer. He's a fan favorite. Does a Chicago Crab, and he is that next one. I think like there's Alfonso, and then this guy is just on a meteoric rise. He is fucking everywhere.
Does this have anything to do with a tamer of any type or like a Chicago Crab of some type?
I can confirm nor deny these allegations against me.
It's legitimately at least 75% influenced on that. I will tell you, knowing Jamie, maybe 60, maybe 60. I mean, it
is 66.6 repeating Lion Tamer. But no, this guy could go. He is so damn good.
I love JDX.
And he was a fun interview. He's a good dude. I just think it would be good. Like,
I like your logic. That's why I wanted you to dig into it because I think you're absolutely right. As much as cool as it be to see Dak Draper as the first Journey Pro champion, being the history he's had in this promotion in Kansas City, all the way back to NWL, all that stuff there. I think you're right in that assumption that he doesn't need to have the title. It would be cooler on a more up and comer, but I'm split. Honest to God, I'm split in this match. I think it's gonna be a banger, straight up.
Oh, hardcore banger! Like
it's gonna be very good.
Dak doesn't do not bangers. Like that's the thing,
right?
And so far, JDX hasn't done one either. Like he just does amazing matches too.
He's incredible. I love that guy.
So we got that match. We got our favorite, your favorite, everyone's favorite, except for Guys Chip's favorite tag team, the hashtag heel shit, the Howlets, going up against the Infantry, which is Sean Dean and Carly Bravo from AEW. That was a surprise I was not expecting, but very, very happy to hear.
You mean the one half of a tag team, and one half of that tag team has beaten has been one of only 3 men to ever beat MJF.
To ever beat MJF.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Man, that was insane.
That is timely as hell. So that's going to be a great one. And I do agree with the Howlets on one point. We need to get an updated promotional pick, but and we are Howlets advocates here on Total Spotfest. Everybody knows that. So I'm looking forward to that regardless.
I believe that was just a clerical error. It's just a clerical error.
Just a clerical error,
Yeah.
Not a Darian Bingston error, but just a smaller error.
You spelled his name correctly this time, and I'm very upset.
I mean, I thought this was going to be like the longest work ever,
I did too.
Doing it.
It's a work, yeah. Like just keep it as a work, just to piss him off.
And keep spelling it different every time. Like,
you know what? Speaking of that match, the 6-man with the Premier, he's teamed up with the Premier, and then on the other side it's Heidi Howitzer, Luke Langley, and Dallas Cade.
I mean, what a cavalcade of characters there on that side. That's
It's going to be fun. And like Darian and the Premier guys, they just, they feel like they just don't get the opportunities that other people do. So
I hear you.
Which I find very shocking because they were in a main event not that long ago, but whatever. I mean, Darian, he's got some genuine beef, because he's been in the six person challenges and he's won 2 of them now, or 3 of them. 3.
He's won the last 2.
He's won the last 2.
I don't know if he has the 3rd victory or not, or one of the earlier ones.
But he's been on fire, and he's been on Sammy Guevara's vlog. I don't know if anybody saw that. I mean,
he's blowing up. He's another guy that we're gonna talk about in 2 years. Like, I remember seeing him when he was, So, but I just love the fact that, and people are glossing over this. It's like Heidi and Dallas. There was a little. They fought off in the Ticket to Ride contest,
That's true.
There's a little bit of history there, and so I'm excited to see that. So more butt stuff for everybody. Can't go wrong.
And then can we just talk about how deceptively good Luke Langley is by himself? Like he's always been a part of just the Enlightenment by himself, but since he's been solo, holy shit! Holy shit!
And I'm glad
again, we get some amazing talent coming through Journey Pro.
Yeah,
like that. Doing that rewatch of Die Hard 2 is also a Christmas movie. That whole sequence that he ended up catching Everett Connors in the Brainbuster in was like pretty fucking rad.
So good. It's so good. And he works the crowd fantastically. So, I mean, that whole team works the crowd like a son of a bitch. So big fan of that match.
So let's talk about that rewatch for just a second. You know what one of my favorite parts was of that thing?
What's that?
You could hear me yelling Lion Tamer.
Yeah,
a lot.
You can hear that.
A lot of things on that.
You sure could. You sure
hear
could.
a lot of stuff.
I mean, this production team, let me tell you guys, but no, I mean, to be fair, Jamie, you don't hear, everybody can hear you say Lion Tamer a lot everywhere we go.
It's fun. It's funny because when we have people on, I tell them I'm the Lion Tamer guy. Like, oh, okay, they know who I am.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about was it Trevor Aeon or JDX? I can't remember one of the
Eon.
two. Trevor Eon. God
With
damn it,
Eon.
I'm from the Ozarks. Forgive me.
Yes, Eon.
But Trevor Eon, I think it was Trevor that he was saying that it was like, oh, I have this. Oh no, it was JDX. When we were talking to JDX, it was like, let's explain the backstory behind Jeremy and his feud with, Jamie and his feud with Jeremy Wyatt, and he goes, oh, I know. And it's like, oh. Okay.
The boys know. The boys are familiar.
The boys are very familiar, Jamie, but it's fun to rehash. So
speaking of Trevor Eon, he is going up against the one, the only Jeremy
this.
Wyatt.
Guys, this is a professional podcast. You guys are going into segues and stuff. This is incredible.
I know. Hey, we've learned a couple things over our year.
I did study journalism
Like
for a
under
brief.
cheating.
I was a journalism major for a brief part of college. So
See, look at this. Amazing.
yeah,
Continue, sorry.
that's a Ticket to Ride match too. Also, I believe, right?
Okay. So let me throw this out here. So there's a slight error on a couple of these graphics that we're getting fixed.
Okay.
These are so Jeremy Wyatt versus Trevor Eon is a tournament match. It is a first round match of the tournament. Same with Dak and JDX.
Right.
And I believe there's one.
You have like a play-in match as well besides those two, right?
We have Kenny Alfonso
Kenny
versus
Alfonso
Moonshine.
Mantel is also a tournament match, and the play-in, if you will, is the Rose and Suge one. And so it just got confused because there was one of those, and I feel like it just got put on the graphic too many times. But we're getting it fixed. We'll get them out there.
Okay. So Trevor Eon and Jeremy Wyatt. Trevor Eon. God damn it. I'm sorry, Trevor. Trevor and Jeremy Wyatt.
It'll be great.
That's going to be
Monarch.
That's going to be a good match. I think that's a good mix of styles too, as well. Visually. So, Trevor said that he used to do a lion tamer back in the day. So there's that.
I asked.
Of course.
You asked fucking Heidi to do a lion tamer, for God's sake.
Yes, I did. Well, we were talking about it, and she said that she'd give me shit about it. I didn't actually come out and ask her to do one. She just offered it up. Like, I was just graciously accepting. I think I have only not asked one person. I've not asked the Howletts because I already know how that's going to go down. I'm pretty smart on that one.
I would like to see that. I would like to see that question asked. We'll save the main event here. So you had Christian Rose versus
Shug D.
Sugar Dunkington.
Yes. And that's Sugar Dunkerton.
Dunkerton. Always mess that up. I mess a lot of things up.
Semi-pro.
That's from Semi-Pro, by the way.
Right.
I don't know how people miss this. What an incredible film. Achievement in cinema. All kidding aside.
So that's the winner. The winner of that advances into the ticket
into the tournament. Right. Yeah. So like the
championship tournament, not ticket.
Yes.
Whatever.
Bracket soon to be released, so that it'll be there by show day, so everybody sees what the bracket looks like. That's basically on the opposite side of the bracket that these tournament matches are in, so it doesn't really interfere.
Okay,
much with
so these they won't necessarily go up straight up. Oh, it's cool. That's good. Awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll get a full bracket.
I'm looking forward to this rematch because, like, if you're a freelance person, like you know what's up about this, and if you, I don't know, if you have independent pro wrestling TV, it was
IW.
Yeah, IW. Yeah, it's on there. Worth the look.
Go check it out. Freelance does some great stuff. But yeah, this match
great
was
people over there.
Fantastic, and we've only seen Shug D at Weekend of Journeys. I think it's the only time he's been here. So this will be
versus Everett Connors.
In the oh my God, is he really wearing that match?
For both guys,
right? Absolutely, it was a thing.
And then they touched tips.
They did.
We were calling for it for like 10 minutes, so they had to touch the tips. One match
just for a second. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you want to talk about? Let's talk about the main event first. Okay. So then the main event.
No.
Oh, you want to do the other one? I'd say.
Hold on. No. You're missing a couple because we also speaking of freelance.
Okay.
Segue. We have Thumbs and Buns going against AC Mack and Dean Alexander.
How could I miss that? Because
but the returning Dean Alexander, who's been dodging us to be on our show, but whatever. No, he just sucks on Twitter. It's fine. But Thumbs and Buns back together, and again, shout out to Buns, baby Buns. That's pretty awesome.
And
baby Buns.
And how about AC Mack, the new independent wrestling champion? It is stellar match against Alex Shelley. Oh my God, it
was great.
That happened just like a month ago too. So it's like, good God, we're getting him. He is hot as hell right now. That's going to be fantastic. I'm all about seeing AC Mack. So I know we have Did I miss anything else? We have the main event and then the other thing, right?
No, we have one more.
Yeah, you have Gary fucking J versus Masha Slamovich. How can we forget that?
I don't know how I could forget that because that match is basically because I'm just like I
dreading it.
I think I'm dreading the aftermath of it because there might be a crater of implosion where Blip Roasters used to be once that match is done. I mean
that this match has show stealer written all over it. Like
this has internet darling written all over it. Like this match could be first of all, every independent match, and even some of the Impact matches, but every independent match that Mosh has done in the past, I don't know, 60 days has just become a gift machine, right? Because God bless Masha Slamovich. Seriously,
she is phenomenal.
And
I'm still trying to get. I'm still trying to get over that. We need to start calling her the Russian Rogue because she's got that.
I don't think you're gonna win on that. I don't think you're gonna win on that.
I know.
Russian Dynamite's her thing.
Yeah. Russian Rogue just sounds good because she's got the hair like the.
No, I got it. I bet for copyright reasons she probably can't do it.
We are nerds, yes, we know, but
hey, yeah, didn't think that far. I'm a big dumb animal, folks.
I'm sitting there like it's not gonna happen, man. Just leave it up. No. But anyway, that match,
but Gary,
no chair is safe.
Yeah, no chair.
No.
This is gonna sound weird, but no nipples safe either because the chops that are gonna be coming from both those people. You're gonna hear a lot of ooh, that just hurt everybody.
That match is that's gonna hurt a lot. Woo boy.
I'm really excited about it.
I'm super excited about it. All right, now
speaking of hurting a lot.
Indeed. So we're talking. We have one more thing with Journey Pro. The main event. I'm just excited to get to this because this match is going to just tear the roof off as well. You know, if there's anything left after Gary and Masha are done, along with everything else on this stupidly stacked card, the finally happening. It's in part of the tournament. It's part of the championship tournament, and he asked for it. Chris and company graciously, albeit reluctantly accepted, making it Kenny Alfonso's request for his match against Moonshine Mantel, no DQ. So no DQ match is going to actually happen, as it did not happen at Die Hard 2 because just shenanigans ensued before the bell rang. So this match is going to happen as a tournament match. I want to see thumbtacks. I might or might not be bringing a giant velvet bag of small metal things. I'm just saying it could potentially happen. It might not. I'm not saying I will, but I could. Katie, if you want me to, give me a shout. Give me a yes down below.
Yeah, like and subscribe if you want to have your body turn into thumbtacks.
For all of us. No, this match though. So Kenny Alfonso, can I just say this on the record? Of course, I love Kenny Alfonso, but he is not the smartest. He's not the smartest man. Like, because Moonshine Mantel, Maverick, whatever you want to call him, holy shit balls! Like,
to do
no DQ
inside the tournament is the thing. If it is outside the tournament, sure, go for it. But this is for the chance to be the inaugural Journey Pro champion.
And Jovi's gonna be bringing his boys like Evangelistico, aka Buddy. I'm not your buddy guy. They're gonna have some of those. Possibly some of those people. So he's gonna need some backup. Somebody's gotta be there for him. And I think maybe his former tag team partner of Alpha Omega would be a good call. Just saying. I know. That costs money.
You're sitting in your fantasy booking even more.
I do. I always do.
I just think that I don't know. Like you said, like if this is he also had a bye. Like he had a bye in the tournament. He didn't have to wrestle.
Like why are you even doing this? You could have like challenged him to a no DQ match just on this card, right? But that's the part I don't get, Kenny. I understand you want to get him, but don't put it in the tournament.
Make it to me in the next round.
Get your belt. Get your 15 pounds of gold. Come on, man.
I don't know.
I
It's
mean-
about that. It's about like pride and like
Kenny is definitely one.
Huevos,
I hear you there.
having
I hear
massive
Huevos.
steel
Huevos,
huevos.
rancheros. Yes.
Yes.
Kenny's not the tallest wrestler out there, but he has marbles. So
He does.
Marbles.
So there was a match that was announced and you said had to be retweaked. So that was the women's match that we had, and there's been some changes to that. Are you prepared to share with our audience and the world what that is actually going to be?
I am.
Ooh.
It will be Brooke Valentine
Okay.
versus Tootie Lynn.
Oh, Tootie coming back.
Tootie.
And I
I'm
like
glad
it coming
she's
back
going
as Tootie
by
too.
Tootie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not the same Tootie.
It's
Yeah.
that's now established, Tootie. Keep going with that. Cool. Awesome.
So that means I always have a Journey Pro playlist, and I always try to make sure I have some of the people. So Tootie Lynn, when she was in Pro Wrestling Revolver, she came out to one of my favorite underrated movies main songs. It's Barry Gordy's Last Dragon. She came out to I'm the Last Dragon in that one, and like it just got me going because I fucking love that movie. So I'm having to add that. So that's
There you
kick
go.
ass. She's amazing.
There you
She's
go.
Yeah.
pretty
She's
damn
good.
good.
Yeah. She's great.
Cool. Well, Scoop is right here. So
Oops.
wonderful. Very good. And for those of you counting at home, that means we have a women's match like we always do, and we have 2 other women in other matches as well. So yeah, how about that representation, y'all? I love it.
Hey. We try.
Yeah.
Journey Pro. So The Love Below, the 18th
Yes.
of February, which is a week from tomorrow. Get your tickets. If you can't be there live, you don't live in Kansas City, you don't want to travel, hop on twitch.tv/journey2anarchy, and it's going to be a good time. You'll hear Jamie yelling Lion Tamer. You'll see me offer Kenny some tasks. Maybe not. We don't know. Perhaps.
Maybe.
Probably. But maybe not. I don't know. Good times had by all. So
100%. Looking forward to it.
Let's talk about wrestling this past week. Did you guys watch
Yes.
a little wrestling this past week? Wrestling.
There's a lot of wrestling this week.
Let's talk about. We're gonna get to Dynamite in a second here, but let's just talk real quick. How did everybody do this past week, Jamie? Do you have numbers?
I do. I really do.
You're fucking welcome. All right, let's go.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I've given up trying to avoid his corny movie references, and I'm just giving in. I'm just giving in.
This son of a
And then
bitch. He did it. He did it. That's
In the immortal words of Jack Nicholson and Jack Palantine, you're my number one.
yeah, good one.
Read the goddamn numbers. Let's go.
Okay. Damn it. All right. So basically, if you're in the first part of the week, you did good. If you're in the second part of the week, you did not. So, yeah. So the flagship, the mothership, if you will, Monday Night Raw went up because it was the Rumble
Post-Rumble,
aftermath,
right?
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It had one Ronda Rousey.
And Lita.
It was
Ronda,
up from
I like Ronda.
yeah, no.
She's a
After
very
all the
good wrestler. She's very good.
After all the shit she talked about how she hated wrestling and then just shows up for the money, she's
I-
kind of lost it.
I'm just saying that she can wrestle. And
No.
and people were pretty harsh on her, like
She
for
can.
no real reason.
She can, but that's also the end of that sentence where you're talking about her inside of the wrestling world.
Yes.
I mean, her mics. I like Ronda as a person. Right?
I have better mic skills.
I would say that Ronda Rousey.
You better.
Yes, Ronda Rousey and Chris Statlander are on the same level of this seems unnecessary. To keep handing a mic
With
over
Chris
being like,
Statlander head and shoulders above Ronda. That's how bad she is. So
Ooh, okay.
I'm just saying. I love Ronda as
like
he is
his-
a person.
He was on to something. Chris was on to
Spicy.
something. Yeah.
He definitely
right.
was. I know. Hey, but how did
So
you?
the numbers, they were at 1.865 billion, up from 1.766. So
Wow.
almost a cool 100,000. So they're at 99,000.
A lot of people.
Still weird to have Raw at under 2 million when you think about the grand scheme of things, you know.
I don't think it's that crazy. It's a really bad show.
Oh no, it is. But I'm talking about 4 or 5 years. I'm talking about 7, 8 years ago. It's like if I would have told you Raw's gonna go under 4 million views, you'd be like, "You're fucking drunk," you know?
No,
I'm not. I'm just realist. But okay,
we as humans evolved, but Bruce Pritchard, Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn, Nick Khan have not.
Well, they've evolved. They have their own developmental brand to run into the ground too.
Speaking of NXT 2.0,
I got this segue shit down, man. I'm telling you.
You do. They went up surprisingly. They didn't this week, but we're not talking about this week. But they also got moved to Sci-Fi due to the Olympics. But this one was their last one on USA. They went from 593 to 619. Actually, they cracked 6. And spoiler alert, they're at 400 for this week.
Well, to be expected.
So AEW, surprisingly enough, dipped. Even with everything, they did dip. They were at 1.1 million. They went from that to 954. So they dipped under a mil. But I'm kind of suspecting with everything that was promoted on this one, they're going to be over a million.
Oh, I'm sure last night's show is going to be well back over. I'm surprised that the Chicago one dipped so much because usually the Chicago shows do very well.
Olympics.
Yeah, there's other programming.
There's just there's other stuff.
Absolutely. So. Yeah.
So speaking of Olympics, because for some odd reason, NBC decided to show the opening ceremonies not only on Thursday, but Friday as well, if you're keeping track at home. So Impact got hit a little, but comparatively, they are still over 100,000, which is great for them.
That's good.
They went from 182,000 to 114, and the show is a really good show.
The show is fantastic. Do you watch much Impact at all, Chris?
No, I just was on a podcast earlier today where the guy is a big Impact mark, and we talked about this. And I had just watched, I think, last week's episode or the week before, like Gresham versus Macklin and
the Pure Rules one. That was 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
2 weeks ago. Yeah,
they wrestled this past week as well, but it was a not Pure Rules. So
maybe it wasn't the Pure Rules.
This past week had Gresham because it wasn't the championship match, but it was Macklin versus Gresham in a straight up wrestling match or regular wrestling match. You had the full Bullet Club in the main event. Lots of the stuff with the Ring of Honor invasion angle and stuff. Kenny King's now part of the invasion.
Can we talk about this for 2 seconds?
Please, let's talk about it.
Because I talked about this on that podcast too.
Yeah.
What they're doing with this ROH angle doesn't make any fucking sense. Because
I don't see it in
honestly, you can't have Matt Taven and Vincent on the same team. They literally just spent the past 4 years fighting each other to where they had a death cage match where Taven was sticking a axe into Vincent's head, and you're telling me that now they're just cool because they worked at the same place? Like, they're banking.
They're banking on the fact that people probably have not watched Ring of Honor, know of who they are, kind of. Maria Kanellis and Mike Bennett are there for the old school, TNA marks, but they're just banking on that. I believe.
But PCO, it doesn't make any sense.
PCO doesn't make sense anywhere, to be honest with you, outside GCW.
It just doesn't make sense.
I mean, personally, my view on it is, I see no end game for that. I see no end game for this, so that makes sense. Either because No Sacrifice, I think it's their next pay per view. I can't remember, but whatever they have, it's in New Orleans sometime later in February. If Team Ring of Honor or Honor No More, I think they're called, right? If they win their match, they get to stay in Impact Wrestling, right? They get whatever. What do you do with them then? I don't get it.
Why not? I just don't understand. Like, even so something just similar just happened in AEW too, right? So Kyle O'Reilly comes back and teams up with Adam Cole, and what do? They have a little tiny segment that takes, 10 seconds, where Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole face off, and they're basically like, "Hey, look, I know we had our problems in the past. I'm willing to put those aside because we're in a new place. So let's see, how this goes."
That's how you do it.
They don't address that at all in Impact. They're just like, these guys are all from Ring of Honor and they all love each other. So,
Yeah, they legit just did these aren't the droids you're looking for.
Yeah,
That's
it's generic invasion angle as best. The Bullet Club invasion angle is so much better because it's got almost a year of clout behind it. There's all this Twitter beef between that. Every time you get Jay White or anybody coming over, or El Phantasmo, you'd have the Good Brothers there talking shit because they were the ones who started the Bullet Club and this and that, and that's got gravity behind it, and it makes sense. And even when you have the team up, of their opponents, which was Speedball Mike Bailey, Jake, what's my name, something, and Ace Austin, which is Jamie's favorite gimmick. Ace Austin and really Madman Fulton. It didn't feel forced. It felt good. I said, that's how you do it. I don't know where they're going with the Honor No More thing. I'm excited to see some of them. Like Taven, I love Taven in general. And Vincent, I wish he had his cavalcade of people around him because they were fantastic. Like, where's the rest of that?
What's Taven's group called? It's OGK. What's it called?
Oh God, I know you're gonna ask me that. Off the top of my head.
Whatever it is, him and Bennett. It's like a tag team. They
right
were
there,
the Kingdom or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Them and Kanellis together coming out is fine, and them leading this charge is fine. Okay with that.
Sure.
But I would think if it were me, I would bring in Vincent and his group
as a counter to that, almost, right?
Or just like they could be coming in at the same time and have both have ill intentions. Like, that's fine. And then that way it sort of makes sense why they'd sort of be working together. Not just here's a random guy from ROH2 and here's PCO. Like, it just doesn't. This is like classic WCW original invasion, and it's like
100%, 100%.
Before.
Well, they got other stuff. They got other stuff to go along with it. Thank God. The Bullet Club stuff is fantastic.
May is great. All the Bullet Club stuff is great. Masha is crushing it.
Masha, another just ridiculousness.
I like
Jonah
too.
How about Jonah now kind of like doing this weird feud with Decay, which I love. It's great. I think we're going to get
That's who it was. I saw Crazy Steve versus
it was Jonah.
Jonah. And I was like, yeah, Crazy Steve is such an interesting, weird character. I don't love Decay, but I
like Rosemary. I've always liked Rosemary. She's so unique. And
but Black Taurus, I'm like, what's going on here?
Well, Black Taurus technically, but he's a AAA wrestler. So he's Mexican, and I've actually seen him quite a bit in. What'd you say?
We don't know that. He's a giant Taurus. He's a Minotaur.
That's true. He's a Minotaur.
He's a Minotaur. From a Mexican wrestling promotion. Okay, I'm gonna put it that way.
Why are we saying he's Mexican? Like, we don't know.
He's a Mexican Minotaur.
I mean, he could be Sumerian, right? Who knows, right?
Now,
but
the fact that they did that standoff between Jonah and
we're gonna get Black Taurus, which
is funny, but it's like kind of like a silly looking gimmick standing next to Jonah, but because Jonah I think is a little bit bigger. So it looks a little silly, but that'll be fun, right? Impact's making moves, so they're like doing stuff that
is exciting. It is so some of the things that we talked about on like with AEW. You can't have everybody in every title picture at every time, right? You got to have something else for them to do at time to time. So plus, it looks like they're bringing in Cardona as the heel now. He beat Jordan Grace for the digital media title, and then they got an interview backstage with him leaving. He's starting to bring his GCW heel into. I could just see because Chelsea Green's doing this whole buddy thing with Mickey James. I could see the Cardonas definitely bringing in because I love their GCW characters so goddamn much.
Yeah, it'll be good.
So much. So I always tell everybody listening out there, like I said, if you're not watching Impact, give it a shot. It's well worth the time. It's got some good stuff, and the wrestling's really pretty good usually. So
yes,
all right,
definitely.
What did we have? Just one show left, right, Jamie?
We have SmackDown and Rampage.
We have 1 day left.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so I would like to also rename Rampage when we get to it. So SmackDown went down from 2.217 to 2.151.
Okay. It
So
was
not
opening.
terrible numbers.
Not bad for opening
Yeah.
ceremonies, although they were very low watch for an opening ceremony of an Olympics.
I didn't
Yeah,
realize they were happening until everybody's like, the Olympics are happening.
No, I was watching the NHL All-Star Skills Contest. Then I was watching you guys on Facebook, and then back to the NHA Skills. Then I watched Rampage. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a Olympics.
So on AEW's Hooks show, this was down from 601,000 to 517. It definitely got dinged by the opening ceremonies.
Yeah, good. It should be. I got beef. All right. So we have a match, okay? An incredible fucking ladder match to unify the TNT title. Uno, one, uni, one. Sammy Guevara on that show walked out with 2 belts around his waist that are the same fucking belt, and he did it again tonight.
Still doing it.
What in the fuck?
It drives me nuts
I
too.
feel like I am taking crazy pills.
You're not alone. I'm with you there. I'm like
Unified, meaning the other one that was for fake disappears.
Yeah, it's just one belt now.
I don't get it. I don't.
What the hell are we doing here? Why
don't
is somebody
understand.
not going, hey, fucking take one of those off?
Like, Sammy, you know those are the exact same belt. Like you don't need to wear them both. It's not like
so
it's not like the Impact / TNA thing that Omega was doing where they're 2 different belts. It's the same goddamn belt.
It's the same belt, and they unified it in a match that was great.
Well, and Dynamite. I thought Dynamite this past week was fine. It was one of those. Still best bang for your buck. Right, an hour, 4 matches. Yeah, Thunder Rosa.
Talking about Hook's show.
Hook did not wrestle on this show, so I'm
not taking
the name. I'm not doing the name. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna do it, Jamie.
Hook's show. He runs that show.
We were also doing we did the stream, and then we were talking to Walter, and we had Rampage on
right.
Mute, but we were seeing everything that was happening. So we all go through like leaps of logic, right? When we watch wrestling, right? Like we all get it.
That's part of the joy. Sure.
Yes. Mercedes Martinez hits Thunder Rosa with a metal pipe in the head.
Yeah.
But she's gonna be wrestling next Wednesday.
But it killed me because up until that was actually my favorite match of the night.
It was a great match,
and then she pulls out a pipe out of fucking nowhere. Here's a pipe bang,
to the head too.
Really?
It wasn't like to the side.
Yeah, it was like right on the temple.
Not the Triple H like sledgehammer where you get him in the stomach or whatever. Yeah. No, this is metal pipe to the side of her head as hard as she could.
Just it. And then we get the revelation.
I mean, ask Eddie Edwards about how that feels.
Well, he true that. And he's still buddies with Sammy, ironically enough.
I don't know.
I don't know. It took him a while to get back there. But, the FTW match was cool, was good. If they're going to have that in there, I feel like they need to move that belt. I don't know. It's just like I don't know. I have feelings about we have long-standing feelings about Team Taz in general, right?
Oh, that match specifically, I am not a fan of Jay Lethal.
Oh, okay.
I could care less. That finish to that match ruled.
Oh, oh my God!
That reversal
for the lethal injection.
Lethal injection turned into a Rochambeau, and I mean that was great. I do love how whenever what's his name, the announcer, Justin
Taz?
No,
Justin Roberts.
Whenever Justin Roberts announces Jay Lethal, he's from Elizabeth, New Jersey, and he does it like the Macho Man saying Elizabeth because he was Black Machismo was one of his gimmicks I love that little continuity bit. That's a Justin Roberts Easter egg, but it was a fine hour show. So I mean, it wasn't their best.
I mean, Rampage is what it is. I think we all understand what Rampage is at this point. Which we thought it was more AEW, which yes, it is, but it's just like it's most of the time it's just slightly under. Like sometimes we get the, I think one of the Hangman and Danielson matches was on Rampage, right?
It was, and we did have that
And
ladder
Punk's-
match between Cody and Sammy 2 weeks ago. You get
Correct.
bangers on there occasionally, but usually it's just like an hour of pretty good wrestling, better than most wrestling on TV.
It's
Yeah,
like
that
better
street
than
fight.
what you would get on Dark or those kind of things. But it's, oh, that's right, the Street Fight was on there too. So it is good. It's just like it isn't.
It isn't Dynamite.
You shouldn't watch it, expect it to be Dynamite, basically.
Exactly. Now,
That's what I have gathered from Rampage.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, it's a good. It's like that very good knockoff, that almost close knockoff jersey, right? The one that's like super well made, but it's still not that authentic.
It's like they'll have the one really great match, but the rest of the matches won't.
They'll be fine. They're fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's just fine. It needs to have.
I mean, I watch it. I
watch it. I honestly,
Hey,
I've got.
Hey,
I watch it every week
it's
for
normal.
sure.
It's normal for some shows, okay? It's normal. It happens to a lot of shows.
It happens to a lot of shows.
All right.
I'm kind of feeling it today.
But you're right. It's not Dynamite. Dynamite did happen last night, though. So, Dynamite last night, though. Whoa. Let's talk about Dynamite because
releasing.
Every Thursday. Yeah. For those of you, just
Yeah.
Yep. Make sure your beer is full there because you probably need another one.
All right. Ooh, unfiltered wheat. So good. So Dynamite, I would have to say this Dynamite was really damn good top to bottom. And I would have to say Tony Khan did an excellent job of promoting this. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we got 2 women's matches.
2 women's matches, 2 debuts, some filthy fucking promos, and a couple stellar matches as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was there.
Great.
Yeah, I think I was talking about this earlier today too. For any complaints that we have about AEW, if we're like, oh well, we don't like what they're doing with Andrade, we don't like this, we don't like that. They could do this better, they could do that better. Then they go do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And totally redeem themselves.
Yes.
This will happen every you'll have a few weeks of being like, I haven't loved the show for a while, and then boom, they drop one.
And we should really pick up the pattern now. We should really not be surprised by this because Tony Khan tends to save this for when they're in like a Keystone venue sort of thing, right? So tonight was in Atlantic City in this. It's a famous concert hall. It's this big Kwanzaa hut shaped, dome thing building up in Atlantic City. It's a fantastic venue to go watch an event at, apparently. But it's sort of a biggish deal, right? We should have been seeing it. That's like, there's going to be some big stuff that's going to happen in that fucking episode. But it did. So, JB, do you want to go through the card? You want to do the card first? You just want to kind of dig into different pieces that we liked? How do you want to do this tonight?
Man, there's just so much to unpack from this show. So I'll just run through it real quick. So we had the MJF victory party, which we'll definitely get into. That opened the show. They did not open with a match, but I felt like this was plenty good to actually open non-match way. Right. Then we had the Blade, which is a little bit of a switch, if you will, going against Wardlow. Wardlow, of course, won with multiple power bombs. We'll get into that.
But at least it wasn't like just a full-out squash.
It was not. I appreciate it. It went through a commercial break.
Yes.
Well, I would hate if they did that to the Blade. He doesn't deserve that. Just because his tag team partner is going to be out for another 6 months. It's like, come on.
Oh, what happened?
He tore his ACL. Like a few months back, he tore his
hurt all the time.
Band breaks up. He fucks up his knee. I mean, he's just not having a good past year or so. So.
Mm-hmm. So after this, we had the Inner Circle. We'll talk about that. I want to save this one. No, I don't. Fuck it. We're talking about this right now.
Well, did you want to get into this MJF thing at the beginning, or if we?
We'll get back to it because I want to save that because
Let's
there's
talk
a lot to talk about.
Right after the whole inner circle stuff, there was the two big things that happened back to back. Let's talk about those two things, and we'll get back to just whatever.
Back to back. So we'll talk about the first one.
For those of you not watching, Jamie is holding up his King Switch shirt that he's wearing right now. FYI.
So Tony Schiavone's backstage with her Funky Vice. They get interrupted by the Bucks, and Adam Cole comes up and is like, "Hey, let him handle it," you know. And then here comes a guy in a leather jacket, shows it, and it's Switchblade Jay White.
Oh,
I nerded the fuck out. So this was not the biggest nerd out, but I'm sitting there at practice. I'm like, I go, "Oh shit, it's Jay White!" And then like this person beside me is like, just looked at me, and this one woman, her daughter and my daughter play on the same team. We used to go to high school together. Like this is like closing a circle type thing. She just looked at me, and I'm like, "It's for a podcast," and I just kept going. And like I just got these odd looks, like, "Oh shit, it's Jay White
for a podcast, right?"
Yeah, it's not the. It just takes
you've been clamoring for Jay White in AEW for, I don't know, 14 months now. You know, since before we started the podcast.
But let's tie up some loose ends here with how this story's going,
dude. Because you had some crumbles to connect. Yes.
So Kenny Omega is champion. This is all during the time where like Kenta shows up and all that. You remember all this?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jon Moxley versus Japan. Yes.
Yeah. Kenta shows up. There is a promo where Moxley is chasing Kenta out into the parking lot. He goes, Kenta, Switchblade told me you were coming. Switchblade told me you were coming. Hey. And then he starts talking to him. I was like, one, they've mentioned his name on the show.
Right. Okay.
So I was like, okay, it's happening. Then the Bullet Club stuff really starts flying off the handle like pretty soon after this. Right? Mm-hmm. And there was like a couple times where like people thought like, oh, Jay White could pop up. Then
this guy over here saying that.
Yes.
He was calling for just so you remember, but he was calling for Bullet Club Invasion, not in Impact, but in AEW to meet up against the Super Elite sort of thing.
Right. So then, then Impact ends one of their pay-per-views. Can't remember exactly which one it was, but this music hits. Jay White walks out. And I went,
"Yep.
Here we go."
It was after the Kenny Omega match too. Yes.
Yes. Here's this whole thing. You find out that's not really what he's there for. It's not really that. It kind of gets pushed down the road a little bit. And here we are now. Apparently in New Japan, Jay White has been dropping AEW constantly in promos.
Okay.
So all these breadcrumbs have been laid for him to show up again. But later on in the show, as like a quick promo before I think the main event, Bucks are talking to Cole, and they say, "Cole, what's up with this Jay White thing? Like, why is this happening? Like, you got to talk to us before you decide to bring in, like, I don't know, Kenny's like mortal enemy." Which is also, I'm pretty sure, well, besides like right after he left, like one of the first times we've heard Kenny Omega's name in a while. Like
it has,
being brought up by them, by like the team. I don't know. I'm excited for. There's so much Bullet Club shit happening right now.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I mean, we may get into it later, but like Cole walking out and grabbing the title and then like putting it back on Hangman at the end of the night and being like, because we all know that's coming, right? Like that's happening in Revolution.
Because I remember he asked that when he first got, the very first BTE when they brought him back from the dead and everything after All Out, they were kind of leaving and walking around and like he's doing the whole kayfabe thing about for him it's been like a minute, right? He goes, "Oh, so all this stuff's changed. I didn't even realize. Where's Hanger at?" And they're like, we'll get to that later, sort of thing, So I think it's the first time he's actually run into Hangman since he's been back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this is the first time they've interacted. And my friend who was over tonight, we were watching the show. He is like, and when Cole just kind of like walked away from him, he's like, no, they were supposed to like fight or like.
Like,
nah, man, Cole's the whole reason. Like,
pull that back.
I was like, Cole's the whole reason why he's even in the Bullet Club or even met these guys.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure. Wasn't it his? He was the one who brought him in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And he's morphed into. Last week he started kind of. Me and Jamie talked about this for those of you who remember. We talked about how Cole was morphing back into the the original first version Undisputed Era intro into NXT Adam Cole. Like, he was getting into that badass son of a bitch, right? And now he's like a hybrid of that and the leader of the Bullet Club when he was, at the time. When him and Kenny were kind of like, vying for it, So he's definitely. I mean, we all know where it's going to go eventually with the elite split. It's going to happen. We know it, and it's going to be glorious.
Dude, I have no idea. Like I thought I knew. Like I thought it was setting up for Adam Cole, Red Dragon versus
Kenny and the Bucks. I still believe that's the end game. The end game. But getting there is a little different now.
Jay White is a shyster. And he's got his addition to this, all of these dovetailing stories is kind of crazy.
And it makes me wonder too, because of Kenny's timeline for return. Apparently he had to have a bunch of things done. It wasn't just a simple shoulder surgery. He had to have like a bunch of stuff done. Right. So he might not be back till this fall, and that might even be, generous. So they might be putting in some roots there, knowing that the storyline they want to tell, they might not get to tell it in the way they want to tell it. But you can't let this hang on for a year and a half or 2 years, right? I mean,
it's gonna become Jay White and Adam Cole. That's where it's gonna turn into.
I think when Kenny shows up, it's like the biggest pop we've ever seen, besides the CM Punk pop.
Oh, when Kenny returns, they're gonna do it in a big way. It's gonna be fucking huge.
Oh, that pop will be nuts. I'm hoping he'll be ready by All Out, but I doubt it.
I thought that's my inclination is that's where they were gearing everything for, because you look at it, it kind of makes sense if you start doing the math out and it lines up, right? I don't think so though. That's just from what I've read, and once again, I'm no doctor, but from what I've read, it doesn't appear as though Kenny's going to be maybe All Out. That might be the earliest we could see it. We'll see.
Yeah, he might be there, but not wrestle. They might just do that type of thing.
I'd be good with that too.
On TV. Yeah.
Well, after that, talk about that, because this is the part that got me for sure.
This is the part that got me. This is the part that stopped practice. So Isaiah. So this is the first ever qualifying match for the Face of the Revolution match that happens at Revolution.
Grab the brass ring ladder.
Yeah, grab the Sonic ring.
Sonic ring.
Yes.
It's funny when it's funny because real fast here, because in GCW they have a grab the brass ring ladder match as well. It's an actual like brass ring, like a metal like brass. It's like that big around, right? But not AEW. We got a goddamn Sonic ring. It's glorious.
So we have Isaiah Cassidy coming out with Mark Quinn and of course Matt Hardy.
But how?
The Hardy.
But how?
Through the
came out to the old Private Party music and intro.
Shots.
Yes, 100%.
Shots.
With the valet and everything. It's telling because of what happens in this match.
Yes. So he comes out, and then this is where Jamie loses it. He goes up against Limitless Keith Lee.
Let's go.
And we all basked in his glory.
No Bearcat, no bullshit, no singlet. Keith Lee,
nope,
in his own damn skin. He looked great.
And for the record, he looked chiseled. Actually, you can see his abs.
So
My
he
friend
gets.
had no idea who he was, and as soon as he went, "Who is that guy?" He was like, they go 340 pounds. He was like, "What?" I was like, "Yes, he is a gigantic man, and he can do moonsaults off the top rope." He goes, "No, he cannot." I
He
was
could
like,
do Spanish flies, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And so in 1 week, Keith Lee gets married. Congratulations, Keith Lee, and debuts in AEW. What a fucking week! Holy shit!
What a guy. He deserves it.
Yeah. So what happened was at practice, I'm sitting there with my phone and Keith
wanna
Lee
hear
comes
this.
out. I'm like, I literally like very, very loud. I'm like, oh fuck, it's Keith Lee. Like, yeah. And literally they were like just doing grounders. They stop, look over at me, like, you okay? I'm like, I'm fucking great. Dropped an F-bomb in front of a whole bunch of 50-year-old girls, not even caring. Because it was Keith fucking Lee, man. Like, I'm like, oh my God. And then here's Megan, like, doing stuff. She's like, Keith Lee? Like, yeah. Like, the other girls looked at her, she's like, I don't know what he's talking about. It was awesome.
The guys at World Culture were like being like, it's got to be Isaiah Cassidy and Keith Lee, because what do we know that Isaiah Cassidy does better than anyone else?
The
Scream when he gets tossed around.
which is
Yeah.
fantastic. I've always loved that. And
They're like, "It's gotta be Keith."
where he inserted in was fantastic. It was when he was like being raised up into his shoulders.
and then the slam.
But we got the hits. We got the crowd doing "Bask in the Glory," and he waited for a second before he started doing the conducting. Keith Lee whoop whoop chants. The crowd was all for it. You had all Keith Lee's good stuff. I mean, doing shoulder tackles. Isaiah Cassidy's the perfect first person to do that too, because he can take all that great stuff and make it look amazing, and it did.
How about the throw from one corner to the other corner?
To
I've
open
never
the
seen him
match.
throw anybody that far.
Well,
I mean,
fucking glorious. It was so good.
now what's
I worked
funny
out so
is
hard.
what I wanted Jamie to focus on and make mention is that during all this too, Matt Hardy, who slowly has been breaking, he's been getting frustrated with the members of the HFO or the AHFO, if you would, and giving up interest in his faction. And he keeps saying that if Isaiah, if he keeps losing, there might have to be some changes. He leaves halfway through the match through the crowd, just gives up on them, just walks away. So
he walked away through the crowd. Who else walked away in the crowd recently? JJ? Maybe somebody he's related to, perhaps. Left a match and walked through the crowd.
His brother, who
middle of a match.
In middle of a match, yes, it's very. I'm
specific.
saying. I mean, I told Jamie my prediction is that this whole thing with the Andrade stuff it's a way for kind of everybody kind of get back into their own rhythm, own separate things, right? Maybe give Andrade a little bit more of a faction with some offshoots, but break Matt Hardy, whose only fix can be Brother Nero showing up, and maybe just for a limited run, like a kind of a farewell to take wrestling, retirement ish sort of thing. But I think we'll see that eventually happen soon. But anyway, I don't want to detour because Keith Lee's the story, but it's a little bit that I see there, and knowing how good of a storyteller Hardy is, I'm like, this all is for a point. It is all for a point, and you're 100% correct.
Yeah, it was great. So the next match, we do have to pivot and go back and talk about the beginning in order for this
Keith
match
Lee
to
won.
make
If you're living under a rock.
Oh yeah, Keith Lee won. He qualified
by a lot.
but he qualified for the Sonic Ring match, and that is a ladder match. And Keith Lee in a ladder match just gets my nipples.
Oh, hold on for this really quick. They haven't announced who's in this Face of the Revolution match, but they've teased it all in this show, right? So Keith Lee for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Andrade?
Feels like Andrade Darby, yeah. I mean,
and there's somebody.
I would assume Scorpio, because Scorpio won it last time.
Right. That's crazy. That's a crazy match already.
I mean, it's what they usually do 6 people, right? Or is it?
No, the last one they had 8.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but if those 3 Like on that Rampage, they teased like 3 matches in that. They teased Sammy Guevara versus Andrade, and I was like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then they teased Darby versus Andrade, and I was like, just
Cool.
as cool.
And
then Darby versus
Darby
Sammy, and I was
which
like,
is
I
yeah.
want to see all 3 of those, even though I don't give a damn what they're doing with Andrade right now because I think it's stupid. They still set me up for 3 matches, and I was like, I want to watch those right now.
I agree with you. It's stupid, but I think it's filler for a purpose. It's filler to keep him.
And it's something that like when they're doing something I don't like, I'm just like, just wait. Have faith.
Right.
Eventually, it'll get there.
Because if this filler and all this story about the thing he's trying to get Darby in is leading up to some sort of ridiculous, bonkers triple threat match between, Darby, Andrade, or a series of matches between Darby, Andrade, and Sammy, cool, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if that's the payoff, I'm all for it. That's why I'm just like,
yep.
It's for a reason. It's cool.
For 1 belt. The last one had 6 people.
Yeah, not the 2 he's wearing.
Yeah. So the last one had 6. It's Scorpio Sky, Code Lander, but then he was Cody Rhodes, Pentagon Jr., Lance Archer, Max Caster, and the debuting Ethan Page.
So I mean, you could have. There's a bunch of people who could fit in it there, but I just think if you just start with Keith Lee and you sprinkle in a little Andrade and Darby into that match is going to just be. It's going to be. We know it's going to be bonkers anyway. It's going to be. Hopefully, one of those that could steal the show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the next match, we have to go back to the beginning in order for it to make sense. So let's
go back and talk about everything that happened before. So that was the big kind of takeaways of the show. Jay White, Keith Lee. That was right in the middle, right?
Yep.
So let's do the beginning and then we'll do the end.
So the beginning, the Pinnacle got announced one at a time, which I thought was kind of different and awesome. So like Wardlow, FTR. Sorry, Wardlow did not have music. Sorry,
he didn't get announced either.
He just walked out with the stuff.
Yeah, then FTR, with their music, which I love their theme music, and I don't know why.
I love FTR in a sentence.
I love the Pinnacle music that they don't play anymore.
That was good music. Yeah, it was.
Better than MJF's theme. Let's just be real. I love MJF, but his theme's a little annoying. It's a little annoying.
It's fitting, though. That's the point. Anyway,
I love MJF. I'm a big MJF.
I don't think it's that bad.
Obviously, I'm a heel guy here.
Well, I know. Keep going. Anyway, so and then
all right. Anyway, so they come out. Justin Roberts Wardlow gives Justin Roberts, or sorry, not Wardlow, but Sean Spears gives Justin Roberts some packet, and he reads off his whole long thing about MJF, like this huge long ass introduction, and he comes out on I forgot what they called it, but it's like where you sit on, like people carry you
like an Egyptian pharaoh in a chair being carried by 6 men on a platform.
I was really hoping they'd fall.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
No matter how much you might have heat with a wrestler, the best heat with anybody in a wrestler I've ever seen in my life has got to be Tony Schiavone's disdain and hatred towards MJF.
It's amazing.
Fantastic.
So in front of the cavalcade, or whatever you want to call it, there were also 2 women like dressed in like togas, if you will.
Yeah.
And as MJF gets to the rope, I just want to call this out. He gives one girl a kiss on the cheek, and the other girl straight makes out with her, and they both were going at it. I gotta give that girl props because she was just going for it.
She's a hot
so there you go, your make out moment of AEW. It was a slobber knocker. Yep, there you go.
Boo.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
We're disappointed with you. Move forward fast. God damn it.
Confetti fell from the sky. All sorts of good stuff. Sean Spears debuted MJF's new shirt that's available on shopaew.com and ProWrestlingTees.com, where he calls himself the best in the world. And he's talking about how CM Punk sucked. He told him he sucked, and like it was just a whole bunch of shit. And he said the person that got him both wins was Sean Spears. And like here comes Wardlow getting ready to go up, and it's like, Sean Spears, you wore me up good, buddy, and all this stuff. Then cue CM Punk. Then this is where things get very interesting, because CM Punk goes, I want a rematch. I want a rematch with the guy who beat me in Chicago. And MJF's talking, you'll never get a rematch. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Wardlow. And then that's where things kind of got interesting.
This is where I started to really kind of get in, because up at this point, it's fine. But he started to kind of put Wardlow over, as like, hey, buddy, do you see what's happening? This slow inevitable turn we've been talking about. Now Punk's the one kind of pushing him forward.
I thought it was happening.
Last like 3 weeks, I thought it was happening.
Oh my god!
I was like, it's tonight. And then last week, it's tonight, and then it's tonight. It's gonna be revolution. It's revolution. It's gonna be revolution. We know
revolution.
This.
Calling it now. When I defend my title.
When you lose your title.
No, I will win that son of a bitch back. It stays a part of the fucking world order forever. But anyway, so then at this point, Punk says, "I want a rematch," and I brought friends too. And then Q, Sting, and Darby Allin. And then, of course, there's Dax. He's just like, hey, you all talking about fighting. I want to fight. Da, 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 da. And then here comes MJF. This is a great idea. If you and a partner of your choosing can beat FTR, I'll give you a rematch. Like, we'll go, whatever. But you can't be one of those two guys. Good luck on picking somebody in the back, because everybody hates your guts. So it was great. So now let's go to the match. Okay.
All right, hold on. Time out really quick.
Okay.
Who did you think it was?
Danhausen.
I honestly, Danhausen's not cleared to wrestle for one.
Seriously, yeah.
You couldn't have. Did you legitimately think it was going to be Danhausen?
I want Pepsi-Hausen. I want Pepsi-Hausen to happen so bad.
I mean, that'd be funny, yes, but he's not cleared to wrestle. Yeah, we know.
And it's not as big of a deal.
No, I wasn't.
It's a big deal for Danhausen, but
I wasn't expecting who they came out with. Honestly, I wasn't sure who it'd be. I was trying to think about it, and I
legit, I thought it was Karrion Kross.
What?
You thought there's going to be another? Legit. There's going to be another. Okay.
What
would have really got me? I'm just saying. I honestly I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know. It didn't hit me. What I think would have been cool though is if it was Samoa Joe.
See, these are all ones I didn't think of. Because
of their old histories. But yeah.
And I was standing. I was like, if this is Colt Cabana, the entire fucking internet is melting down.
That's where my brain immediately went.
I was like, It won't matter that Keith Lee showed up. It won't matter that Jay White showed up. If Colt Cabana walks out right now, all the internet melts. And it's just insanity.
I'm with you.
And I was standing and I was like,
Twitter will shut down.
That would have been fantastic.
Moxley's music hit, and I go, also great.
Perfect. That's good. As it happens, like, oh, that is perfect, really. So,
is it? And somebody else said this, so I can't take credit for this, but it's something I saw. The straight edge guy picks the newly sober guy as well.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's I don't know, man. This when he walked out, I was like, okay.
He's like yeah, that makes sense. But my God, this match though, this is and the main event was fantastic, fan-fucking-tastic. This was my match of the night though. I loved this match.
It was great.
It was insane. It was by far way better. I mean, when you have all that level of talent, like
it's gonna be good no matter what.
Be a banger.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw all the players, like, oh, this match is gonna be great, and it exceeded my expectations. The thing that got me to pop the hardest, because I am a Legion of Doom hardcore fan.
Doomsday device.
That Doomsday device. I had to tweet about it as soon as it happened. I'm like, oh, that made them smile. Hawk's dead. Animal's still alive, I think, still. But like smiling from heaven, like, yeah, that's right.
That was
right,
really
brother.
cool.
Animal's
I'm a
not
Cash
alive.
Wheeler guy. I'm pretty sure Cash Wheeler is the most underrated wrestler in all of wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if for whatever reason at some point they both go on singles runs, like I think pushing Cash Wheeler to like a TNT title type situation would be a very good idea.
He is phenomenal, actually.
I mean,
he's ridiculous. Do you remember how they lost to the Bucks?
Yes.
He tried to hit a springboard 450
He
from
almost,
the apron.
and he sold it so well. You made it's like wow. You know, I didn't. Cause they play the gimmick to a man. You know, just perfect, right? And they're so believable. This is the modern day Four Horsemen, really. You know, it's like it really is. They got that look, that kind of general old school throwback. But to your point, they can go, and they can go in different ways. And, you know, Cash is the strong side. Cash is the Arn Anderson, and Dax definitely's got the mouth on him. I mean, they're underrated in total, 100%. They're underrated 100%, but Cash, especially because maybe he's the quiet one, maybe that's why he kind of gets less of the attention. But I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I love me some Cash.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I just love the fact that they made their names Dax and Cash because they're old school guys of Axe and Smash. You know, like I just love it. Like the little things like that they do.
They renamed their finisher to the Big Rig in honor of Brody Lee. So I mean,
amazing.
Who does that?
Yeah.
Right? They weren't even in his faction, and they were friends, but not as close as others. And they're like, nope, this is it. It's on him.
Yep.
It's like, fucking A.
Awesome.
Good dudes.
Finished her was interesting. It was kind of a flurry at the end there, and it was a mess in the best way. My personal favorite part of the match, though, had to be Tully coming in, ripping his coat off, smacking CM Punk with it, and Punk just looking at him like, "You done fucked up, old man."
And he could, and Dak, he tried to get up on for the go to
sleep. He could get it first.
So great.
Then he did. And then,
He did, but yeah, I love that. I love the moment that he couldn't get up on it like in time, and it was so perfect because like CM Punk was even laughing. He was like, like picking him up.
Dude,
and then
every week, it feels like CM Punk's having the best time of his life, right?
He
looks so
hits
happy.
it, and I'm pretty sure at the end of the match. Now you can rewatch this, but at the end of the match, Tully is like on the apron near where Punk is, and I could see that Tully like shouts something at CM Punk, like at the end of the match, being like, "Hey," most likely being like, "Hey, sorry I didn't get up" or whatever. And I'm pretty sure CM Punk looks back and he hollers at him and is like, "Fuck off! I just got to get to hit my finisher on Tully Blanchard." Like he didn't care. Like clearly did not care that Tully didn't get up when he was supposed to. And like Tully was like talking to him about it, and he was just like, "Okay, whatever, dude, I'm fine."
CM Punk's going to choose his match. They won, of course, so we'll see. Revolution's the smart money, of course. We all know this, right? So,
have you guys noticed? So, like, this is something I love about the What Culture guys and their podcast is they notice shit that I just won't notice because I wasn't a diehard fan in the 80s and early 90s and stuff. And they've been dropping like Roddy Piper stuff.
A lot of Roddy Piper references thrown around left and right.
And Punk did this when he did the Darby match. It was like a tribute to Bret Hart and Dynamite Kid. So they were doing like exact spots from that match.
Exactly, yeah.
And they were doing the Roddy Piper stuff in the promos between him and MJF. So like the guys on What Culture, I think it's Sedgwick, is like saying he really thinks it's going to be a dog collar match at Revolution against MJF and CM Punk.
They didn't bring this up afterwards, but I distinctly remember him saying any type of match, MJF said.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So he keeps throwing better than Piper in Portland. I think that's a fantastic segue. So
yeah, so there's just like little crumbles of stuff. I love like finding out those little details. Because there's stuff like I would just miss. Like I didn't know the match that they were referencing in the Punk and Darby Allin match. But when I go back and watch it, I'm like, cool. That's awesome that they're like paying homage to this like great thing that was very influential to them. Like that's fucking awesome.
It's so cool. So cool.
Yeah.
I do like when you get that kind of those bits, and the What Culture guys are great. I actually listen to a few different ones that pick up different things, like that, and they always have.
I listen to it all, y'all. So don't judge me for a bit. Like I listen to Wrestle Talk. I listen to.
Oh yeah, no, I do
all.
too, and I totally support because we all have different voice. Like me and Jamie, we'll mark out about certain things. Jamie talks about lion tamers, I talk about flippy spinny shit all day, right? And but. Yeah, I think you gotta get that different voice because there's a lot of nuance in a lot of this stuff now, and I think it's because that's sort of there's so much wrestling now, and it's such a good wrestling is so good right now that to really separate yourself apart, you gotta do some of that, right? Because then you'll get that in that group that's like, oh shit, that was fucking hard, that was Hitman. Did you see that? Cool
yep.
Stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
Now. After this match, though, was
what a time to be alive.
Yeah, 100%. After this match was interesting because we had not one, but two women's matches.
Yes, and the first one, I'm gonna call it now. This might have been Jade Cargill's best match.
She gets better by the week, 100%.
She has gotten so much better. And this AQA woman, I've never heard of her. Now I'm going to research her.
She was that girl who did that almost suicidal shooting star in NXT before it was 2.0. Remember?
Oh, she got released by them, didn't she?
Yes, I think I don't remember what her gimmick was. She was only like it started with a Z, like Zendaya or whatever, Zelina. I don't remember. I'm just saying actresses' names now. It was a Z, but no, she was there for a hot minute. She had that shooting star press that looked ridiculous, right? That's her. I'm sure that's her. She's now AQA is what she goes by. She was released.
I mean, that thing looked beautiful. Like,
it did look good.
I like Chris Statlander's 450, but that thing looked breathtaking.
I mean, she is textbook, and Jade's getting better playing the crowd. Of course, Jade won, right? She's not losing. Just somebody making their debut, right? But she looks better by the week. And then I want your thoughts. Okay, so the next match was a short one, 1 minute in length, but it was a second female match on Dynamite. So
technically, yes.
Modest victories.
Yeah, so Serena Deeb was issued a 5-minute rookie challenge.
The Professor's 5-minute rookie challenge.
Yeah, Professors. I apologize. So Serena Deeb versus Katie Arquette, not to be confused with David Arquette. She beat her in exactly 1 minute.
On the dot.
On the dot. She looked over at it and then tweaked it. So, I feel like this is a play because
I'm gonna ask you
newsflash, Hikaru Shida is legit hurt.
No, she's out for a hot minute.
But
why couldn't Deeb just beat Shida? Like, none of this would be a problem right now, and Deeb would look crazy strong if she just beat Shida.
Right?
Like, we didn't have to have the matches 3 different times. Just have Deeb win.
Well, yeah. I didn't mind having the match multiple times. It's just I'm with you there. That last one, when she went ape shit, it's just like that doesn't really serve. I mean, because up until then, it was great.
What's the point?
It was mastery. It was wrestling at its finest. It wasn't just transcended the title of women's wrestling. It was great matches, and then she beat him up. And right now, I think there's an angle here. I don't know what it is. I do know that. I was listening in, and I was, of course, I was watching Ruby Soho, Ruby, when she was on her Twitch stream most recently, and she keeps saying in interviews and stuff that her dream opponent is Serena Deeb, how she's been behind her everywhere she goes, this and that. And if, they're lining up Thunder Rosa with Britt Baker like we expected, right? Jade Cargill's got this thing going on. There's a bunch of, we'll see what's going on with that. Maybe Nyla Rose I think would be a good thing because who's believable to beat up to end the undefeated streak? I think Nyla Rose is. So what do you do with some of your other more marquee women?
She won't lose. She'll get the title before she'll lose.
Right, I'm with you there.
I
don't know about that. I don't think they're gonna go that far.
So something that's frustrating me is like Nyla Rose just keeps being put in the same feuds over and over. So she like I've seen her wrestle Sheeta 100 times. I've seen her wrestle Riho 100 times. I've seen her now wrestle Ruby too many times. It's like, guys, just make other stories. Like, there's other stories here. You just keep putting Nyla like, and then Nyla beat Ruby. So I'm like, what are we doing? I don't understand.
Where do you go with that?
Yeah,
Yeah, where do you go with either one of them is the thing, And so I'm hopeful that because here's the thing, they get like partial credit for a lot of this stuff because they'll set up like they're setting up this long-term feud, giving something to do for Layla Hirsch, Red Velvet, and Chris Statlander. Which cool, good, gives them something to do, right?
I mean, yes,
you might not like it, might not be the best, but it's they're occupied with something,
they're
right?
Doing something. Yeah.
Not everybody's gonna be, but they're occupied with something, and you've got different things here, and then you've got with the whole. It's going to be Baker and Rosa. We know that, but you got Martinez tied in it. You got other ones, so they're in with something. I'm sure you've got somebody in mind for Cargill, but what do? I know you're gonna get there in a second. But my thought with Serena is, I think because of what all Ruby's been saying, that maybe that's what they're going to do with her to keep her out of the title picture for now. See how it goes in the future, but give that because there's got to be something they're lining up for. Jamie, do you have thoughts about Jade and Serena and women's booking or lack thereof in AEW? Let's hear you.
I do. I really do. So when it comes to Serena Deeb, so with Sheeta being out for a couple months, the most obvious thing, so she is doing a rookie challenge. That was the big key thing for Jamie to hear. Rookie challenge. I mean, somebody who does not have a record in AEW or has a very low record in AEW.
I think
There's one person I can easily think of, or two, that could easily fit into this mold. One of which, her husband just recently became.
I was going to say Mia Yim, right?
Mm-hmm. Mia Yim easily could fit into that, and Mia Yim and Serena Deeb, just the thought of those two going at it,
that would be nice,
is amazing. Because
I'd say think bigger.
I was also going to go with a.
Well, let's hear what your other one is. Yeah.
I think I know where he's going.
Number two for me would also be somebody who had like a werewolf vibe thing going on, and Athena, she, I think, I would like her actually. If it were me, I would like her to be in the TBS title picture first, and then have Mia Yim doing the Serena Deeb thing.
I still want to see Mia Yim back as Jade in Impact, personally. That's my thought.
She's gonna go where her husband is, and
more than likely, yes. But I'm just saying, as a character wise, I personally like that better. I would like to see her in any of these feuds. I mean, the point of the matter is, I think they said there's room to bring in more women. You got to give them more opportunities. So even though this match was what it was a complete total squash, and maybe it's not the best feud, at least it's creating another path for something, and that's the key. I think it's like even.
Baby steps.
Yeah, you don't need to have two total banger women's matches, or you don't need to split up half and half. Impact does this best. Like they have long been established. They have multiple women's matches every week, sometimes three. They go to town, right? You don't need to jump to that. Just give us a little bit, and this is a good way to do it because you'll have a little short match every week, and you can have one good match every week. Plus, you got some stuff on Rampage and then on Dark and all that good stuff. So. Build these stories. That's all I ask.
Stuff that's like frustrating to me is like, I know they have more women. Like, where's Sky Blue? Where's Ty Conti? Where's oh god, there was somebody else I just had in the chamber. I was like, she's amazing and she's not being used right now. Like, where is
Abaddon? I love me some
Abaddon.
Anna Jay,
Anna Jay. There's somebody else.
Penelope Ford, the bunny. You got a bunch.
Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford's fantastic.
Penelope Ford's underrated as fuck.
Yeah, there's just like, I feel like there's more to get out of this division, and I feel like they just like, there's just like so like, I don't think the division is weak. They say the division is weak, but the reason why it's weak is because there's just not the booking is all over the place.
That's my argument.
Who's challenging Britt Baker?
It's going to be Thunder Rosa.
But they do these crazy long plays with it.
They haven't. They pussyfooted around this, and they're insinuating this, and they're setting all that up, but they haven't really gone to that directly with it. They haven't really addressed the women's rankings. They always talk about the men's rankings, and this person's number one ranked. This and the person. Cool, right? You've got a women's rankings too, and it's just as clear because it's tweeted out at the same time as all the other stuff. And I think that when they brought in Ruby, they were at the right kind of capacity for the time for what they were doing to kind of really set up multiple different storylines and go for it, which, like I said, they're kind of starting that a little bit here and there, but the follow through and the booking doesn't really reflect it always. And
Julia Hart has a storyline.
Julia Hart story
going on.
Yeah. Now, if you follow the full canon, then yes, I get it. Okay, cool. Because Dark and Dark Elevation, Julia Hart's been getting a lot of press on that, and they do a lot more women's matches on those shows. Good, right? That's good. That's not on TV though. I hate to be that guy, but we need to follow through with more.
If they just did like a quick recap and not just the ticker at the bottom.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I think that would be beneficial because like the Gun Club is the number 1 ranked tag team. How? When
Ass Boys?
The Ass Boys. When did the Ass Boys do anything? Like they've been mostly on Dark.
Mostly on Dark.
Elevation. They do that a lot, and like I'm fine with that because I'll like go and check out some of those matches.
Mm-hmm.
But like for like some people, they're watching this and they're like, how did they get to the number 1 kid? I haven't seen them wrestle. You know, if you go to a live event, you'll see it and stuff because they tape that stuff.
Right. If you follow all the stuff, that makes sense to you. But I think that's a big ask for a casual wrestling fan. And it's
just a quick highlight of like the end of the match and just being like, Gun Club picked up the win. You could have Shivani do it.
You could do that in 2 minutes. The whole thing. Boom, bang, done.
Perfect. You see that all these people picked up wins.
So Jamie's applying for a job at creative. You're going to apply for a job at production. I'm still trying to get on as Ruby Soho's personal assistant. It's not going to happen. Hey, Ruby. We'll see what happens. So one more match. This match, woo doggy.
So this match was this close to being my match of the night. If it wasn't for how good the FTR,
I have one big problem with this match, but go for it.
I mean, this match had Jake the Snake Roberts in it, man. Jake just doing Jake things, you know?
I love that spot.
Oh, he did the short arm clothesline, man.
And he's going for the DDT.
The DDT, and then Archer throws him off. It was great.
Yeah,
and then Hangman
Page does it. Yeah,
I mean, you got
so good.
You got your favorite Dan Lambert coming out, undoing the top turnbuckle so that the top rope is down. So now you can't do the buckshot lariat if there's no top turnbuckle.
Can't do it.
My issue before we dig into it, like I said, my issue with this match is there's like, I remember back in college, like one of the big drinks, the big shots at the time was liquid cocaine. And there was like 8 different ways to make it, right? So whenever you went to the bar, you had to tell them which version you wanted if you ordered that liquid cocaine. It's not been as popular since then for very obvious reasons if you think about it. But that's what this feels like. Texas Death Match, I know it at least 3 or 4 different ways, right? So it's always like, which version are they doing with it? And it feels like, definitely a moving the goalpost thing. So the rules of this Texas Death Match were just quite simply knockout or submission is the only way you win. Go. I know a Texas Death Match like they did for Mickie James and Daniel Purrazzo, the more classical way of doing it, where a pinfall and your opponent has to stay down for a 10 count afterwards. So you secure a fall, pin or submission, and then the opponent has a 10 count to get back up. And if they don't, you win. Like, I've always thought that's been, I think, the best version of it. That's my only complaint about this match. Texas Death Match is kind of like one of those catch-alls, It's like, it's a hardcore match, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And this match had tons of great spots. Blood everywhere for both guys.
Ooh.
I mean, that was gonna be a given. They were a bloody damn mess.
Page was like oozing.
Crimson Mask.
He was just going. He was just dripping blood, man.
Yeah.
I
I mean, you had everything. You had Archer hitting his finisher onto the steps on the side. Like they're sitting on their side.
So
oh my
hard.
god.
Oh, it looks so good.
Nope.
It just looked nasty. You know, Archer goes for that he goes for that power bomb. He at some point there's a whole bunch of chairs. One of the chairs had barbed wire on it. He went to go do it, and then Hangman grabbed that chair and just nails Archer with it just to create more blood. Like, man, it was insane. The big spot.
He was laying down, and the chair had barbed wire on it. And then as he got pulled up to get powerbombed, he ripped the barbed wire off of it and like started like punching him with. It was just like, this is ridiculous.
It is. So at one point during the match, you saw Archer set up 2 tables on the outside. And obviously, if you're a fan of wrestling, you know at this point, they're going to get used at some point. They get used right then and there.
And being that it was the Lance Archer match, probably it's going to be used in the finish of the match, because there's 2 Jon Moxley matches that say that that's where the match is going to end somehow.
Yes. So the finish is, here's Archer on the outside of the ring, right, coincidentally of course, right in front of the tables. And here is on the other side of the ring Hangman, and between him is the ref. He does the buckshot lariat off of the ref and hits Archer through the tables to get the win.
It looked really good. It looked amazing.
It looked
great. Off the ref.
It reminds me of the old commercial, and some of our listeners might be way too young for this, but the old McDonald's commercials with Larry Bird and Michael Jordan.
Off the wall, through the window.
Yes.
Off the
nothing but net. Yeah.
Very timely with the Super Bowl coming up this weekend, Jamie.
Good job. Thank you.
Hats off to you. Now, that wasn't the end of the show, though, was it? We already talked about this, but afterwards, out came Adam Cole, which everybody thinks to challenge, right? He's going to challenge. He's going to challenge Hangman. Nope. Picks up the belt, looks at it, puts it on his shoulder, gives him a pat, backs out. Very coy, very sly.
But he also like looks over his shoulder.
Yep.
At the end. I'm a cool guy.
Cole's so good. I love it. So that was Rampage. I thought it was a fantastic show. Just email me my pants, okay? Whenever you get around to it.
Pants.
Yeah, it was a great show. Like, I can't wait to listen to what people think of last night's show. So I'll be listening to the Figure 4 Daily and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All the reviews. I can't wait to see what everybody's saying.
I want to know. I want to hear.
Scarily open up Twitter soon.
I want to hear what people's. I want to hear people's favorite matches. What I'm interested to see, was it the main event, or was it that Moxley Punk tag match? Because I think they're both stellar matches in a very different light. You know.
I think it's Moxley Punk. Most people will say, but
I agree with that statement 100%. But I mean, that death match was really good too. So.
It was great. They did a great job.
Next week we get more stuff building up for Rampage, and then there was something else that I had noted here about next week. Who was that? You get Santana Ortiz versus Jericho and Jake Hager next week. The whole long and short of it with the whole Inner Circle thing is Sammy's like, you guys, I'm not going to be part of this until you guys figure this stuff out, right? You know, so whatever. So they're feuding. Santana Ortiz
again, same thing that they did before.
It's time for them. It's time for them all to go their separate ways.
It should have happened.
It should have happened.
Pinnacle stuff.
It absolutely should have happened post, like War Games or Blood and Guts or whatever. Sorry, but anyway.
So good.
William Regal's a free agent now. Just putting that out there.
And he's got shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees, and I might buy one because it's blue. and it looks nice.
Jamie's requirement, if you're not following along here, is that you're a pro wrestler, a pro wrestling organization with a T-shirt. Don't sell a black one, and he'll probably buy it.
True story.
All right. Well, you guys have any final thoughts about Rampage or this week or the upcoming Journey Pro show, The Love Below? Anything at all?
If you don't have your tickets yet for The Love Below, you can get them at journeyprokc.com. If you can't come to the show, please watch on Twitch, twitch.tv/journey2anarchy. It's going to be a blasty blast. We have so much more fun things for you guys coming in the near future. Next month is going to be so much fun. There's just so much. There's a lot happening. So get excited. Get pumped up.
Oh, it's a great time for independent wrestling, and if you're in or near Kansas City, or you want to just tune in on the internets and check it out, please do. It's so much fun. So we will be back on Tuesday. We got another interview coming up on Tuesday. Do you want to do the surprise, Jamie, or should I go?
Never a surprise. They need to know.
They need to know, especially if you're looking to join a cult, because we have a cult leader, the man who has morphed into the cult of Gary J. It's Gary fucking J. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Gary J is our special guest this coming Tuesday. It's well worth it. His cat makes an appearance for most of the podcast as well. That's always a foot. If you don't like Gary, you don't like cats. I don't know what you're doing with your life, but great.
He was an excellent interview. So far, we've had a great run of awesome interviews, and his was pretty top.
And my spoiler is we spent almost half of it talking about Batman. So if you're into Batman and you don't care about wrestling, come join us too. It's good stuff. We'll be back next Thursday with our regularly scheduled podcast. It'll be like me and Jamie's kind of preview going into The Love Below. Plus, let's see what happens next week in where are they at for Dynamite next week? DC? Fuck, I don't know. Somewhere. Thursday, we'll be back to talk about regardless. Chris, thank you for joining us tonight here. Give them a shout. Where can they follow you? Where can they check you out?
You can follow me on Instagram /If Rabbits Could Fly. You can follow my gaming podcast, Party Invite, twitch.tv/Party Invite Show, Discord, Party Invite, all that stuff. Come hang out with us. We're a gaming community that won't make you feel stupid. So come hang out with us and play video games and talk about them.
Which is good. And of course, follow all the Junior Pro things.
I'm playing Dying Light 2 right now, and it's blowing my socks off.
Digi games.
So follow the Junior Pro stuff. Links for everything, like I said, is always down below. Tickets, links for tickets, links for everything. And then, that's what we got. So we will see you on Tuesday for our time with Gary J. And we'll be back next Thursday. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down on Total Spotfest, I have 3 words for you. Put JDX over.
The D stands for done. We'll see you next week, guys.
Peace.
I don't know.
Peace.